Should you ever mess with a classic? That's the question I look to address in this video when I take a look at the F-91WM-7AEF. I recently picked this up from Amazon. Retail price is £28. I paid around about £12. It was from the warehouse. At £12, it's pretty much the same price as the regular Casio F-91. At the retail price, it's almost 3 times the retail of the regular F-91, which is a bit steep in my opinion. Before we get into the video, let's do a quick wristwatch check. Anybody guess? Of course, it's the classic. The watch I've had for many years and probably owned 4 or 5 of these back to when I was a boy. I won't belabor some of the basics. Standard Casio box. Nothing special inside. Nothing special going on with the feature set. Standard alarm, stopwatch, 24-hour time, day, date, and if we turn off the lights, you can almost see it's got the standard F-91 extremely poor but perfectly usable backlight. So in simple terms, does it work? Does changing the bezel and making some modifications to the face, is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Let's have a look. Here's the 2 of them on my 16cm wrist. And I would say that despite it being a fairly minimal change, it does completely change the watch. So the regular F-91, that is very much, you're wearing it, you're harking back to your childhood, people look at it, it's got a retro vibe, it's got that tricolour, blue, gold, red happening on the dial. In some respects, this is kind of making a statement saying I don't really care, I'm just wearing the watch that I've worn ever since I knew watches were a thing. This is a completely different statement, look and feel. In my opinion, what this does is it makes it a bit more dressy. It's not as retro, it's an updated classic. It's a bit more clean looking because as well as changing the bezel to silver, look what they've done with the text. It's now all muted, it's all grey, as opposed to the different coloured text over here. And that, I think, makes it a bit more of a outfit watch as opposed to a tool watch. I really like it, I really like the option. I'm not super sold on the look from the side. I think that stark contrast between the silver and the black doesn't really appeal to me from the side. Same thing when you look at it side on like this. I don't know, maybe some sort of silver accent on the clasp or this little support strap here would have balanced it out for me. I think that kind of sticks out a little bit, but from the front that works. Let's pop it on the wrist. So I've got a 16cm wrist. You can see how that wears. It's you know, there's still the perfect size. I'd say it looks a little bit bigger when you've got the color difference between the silver and the black, because then you can see just how kind of wide the actual watch is, whereas you know, if you have the black here, it kind of all fades into one. And in some respects, when the watch is black, these sort of the fixed bit here where the strap attaches, that kind of fades into the overall look, whereas here you know that this silver bit here is part of the watch face, so it makes the watch look a bit bigger. I personally will be keeping this watch. I think it's a great addition. And look how it compares to some other watches. So here's the F-91 in yellow. Completely different look. Very much a summer watch. I don't think you could get away with the yellow watch in a work environment, whereas the silver one, I think you probably could get away with it. And if you're considering these sort of watches, then you know, maybe you're thinking, oh, should I get a stainless steel version instead? Well, there you go. Here's an option. Here's an A168. They're kind of similar, right? When you add a bit of silver to the F-91, they're not a million miles apart. One of the things I come back to on this one is the muted colours of the face, which reminds me of another watch that I have, the Casio A700 on the Milanese band. And can you see how the text is muted, a very similar look, right? Kind of that flat look. Anyway, if you were considering this watch, I hope you found this video useful. I'll speak to you soon.